InDesign is a typesetting powerhouse, offering more typographic options than any other program around. I covered the basics of InDesign typography in the Essential Training title. I'll cover 3 features in this movie: balanced ragged lines, align first line to grid, and the superior subscript feature. I have my JavaCo magazine file open from the exercises folder, and I've opened to the second spread, and I'm going to zoom in on this text frame right here. I'll press Command 2 or Control 2 on Windows. After selecting it, zooms right in on it. I'm going to press W to hide all my guides and other non-printing objects. They're just a little bit too distracting right now. And I can see that in this paragraph, the last word is sitting all by itself. It's just kind of lonely down there. It'd be nice to give it some company and balance this paragraph out so it doesn't look so top-heavy. I'll double-click on it to place the type cursor inside that paragraph, and I'll go to the flyout menu in the control panel. That's this little pop-up menu in the far right corner of the control panel. From here, I can choose Balanced Ragged Lines. Immediately, you see that InDesign balances the whole paragraph out so that the last line is not so off balance. Let me show you another example. I'll use my Option spacebar or Alt spacebar keyboard shortcut to get the grabber hand, and I'll scroll down to the bottom of the page. I can see that this paragraph has the same problem. In this case, I'm going to change the paragraph style because I want to make all my article subheads have balanced ragged lines turned on. So I'll go to the Paragraph Styles panel, and I will go look for that heading. It looks like it's down here. There we go. It's selected Article Subhead, and I'm going to edit that. I'll choose the flyout menu from the Paragraph Styles panel, and I will click on Style Options. That opens the Style Options dialog box, and I will jump over here to the Indents and Spacing pane, look down here, and oh, there it is one more time, Balanced Ragged Lines. I'll turn that on, click OK, and you can see that now all of my article subheads are going to have balanced ragged lines turned on. That looks a lot better. Let me zoom out to fit page in window again, Command 0 on the Mac or Control 0 on Windows, and I'll go back to this paragraph here because there was something that was really bothering me about that, Command 2 or Control 2 on Windows, and I can see that this line does not match up with the baseline of this line over here. And it's a little thing, but it's a really annoying thing. We talked a little bit about align to baseline grid in the Essential Training title. I just want to follow up here with one more important point about baseline grid, and that is I can align just the first line to the baseline grid. I don't have to align the entire paragraph to the baseline grid. And the way I do that is I place my cursor in the paragraph, I go to the paragraph formatting mode of the control panel, and I'm going to turn on the Align to Baseline Grid button here. I'll just turn that on. Now the entire paragraph gets the Align to Baseline Grid turned on, and that may or may not be what I want. In this case, it's definitely not what I want because it throws my leading off entirely. But I do want to start by turning that on. The second thing I'm going to do is go over to our friendly control panel flyout menu one more time, and I'm going to scroll down to Only Align First Line to Grid. This only works when Align to Baseline Grid is turned on for the paragraph. When it is turned on, and I turn this on, now I align my first line of the paragraph to the baseline grid, so it matches up perfectly with this baseline over here, and the rest of the paragraph just falls wherever it may. Let's go down here to the bottom of the page one more time because I noticed something down here that I want to fix, and that is this H2O, H2O for water. Well, that too needs to be a subscript. It needs to go down a little bit. Let me zoom in here. I'll grab my zoom tool and just zoom right in on that text there so we can see that really well. And I want to choose this too and apply a subscript. I want it to make it go down. Well, there's 2 ways to do this, and I want to point out the wrong way and the right way. I'll go up to the control panel and switch back to the character formatting, and I'll point out that there is a subscript button here in this mode. And if I click on that button, it looks like it makes it subscript, right? Well, in fact, it does make it subscript, but it's a fake subscript. In most cases, it's a fake subscript, and it looks kind of ugly. You might not know that it looks kind of ugly because that's what everyone's kind of used to, but let me show you a different way of doing it. I think you'll see that it's a better way. I'm going to select this text and copy it, and then I'm going to simply place next to here, and I'm going to paste it again, just so we have a before and after. And the one on the right is going to be the one that we applied that button to, and the one on the left, I'm going to turn that button off. and I'm going to show you a different way of doing this. Instead, I'm going to go to the flyout menu, Control Panel flyout menu, open Type submenu, and then choose Subscript Inferior. Because Minion Pro, the font that we're using, is an open type font and it has a subscript option, we can select that and we get a much better quality subscript. This character here is something that the type designer actually built to be a subscript. This 2 over here has been faked. How was it faked? Well, it was faked using InDesign's preferences. We'll talk about preferences later in this title, but very quickly, let me point out where the faking mechanism is here. I'll go to the Preferences submenu, which is in the InDesign menu on the Mac or the Edit menu on Windows, and I'll come over here to Advanced Type. And we can see that the subscript option is right here. This is the faking mechanism. It's changing that 2 to 58.3% of the regular size, and it's using baseline shift to move it down about 1/3 of its size from the baseline. Let me click OK, and you can see that. We could change those preferences to make it a little bit bigger maybe, or maybe not move it down quite as much. That would be fine, but you'll never get the look to be as good as if you use a character that was actually designed by the font designer for an inferior or a subscript character. Of course, this is only a small percentage of the cool stuff you can do with type in InDesign. I'm going to cover more topics relating to text and type styles throughout the rest of this chapter. But if you find you want even more details, I want to encourage you to check out Nigel French's InDesign typography title on the lynda.com online training library.